Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our Business Intelligence on the Go, an overview of JET Enterprise and sneak peek of JET Mobile webinar. I'm Michael Intravatolo, the Marketing Manager for Solution Systems. Today we have customers and others attending this webinar, so just a bit about Solution Systems before we begin. We're located in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. We've been in business for 35 years, providing software, IT infrastructure, and web development to organizations in the Chicagoland area, as well as Wisconsin, Indiana, and the Midwest region. We are a gold certified Microsoft partner. We sell, implement, and support an ERP software called Microsoft Dynamics, NAV. NAV is a business accounting software that is geared toward manufacturers, distributors, and service companies. We also sell, implement, and support CRM, as well as outsource IT services to our customers. Today we are very fortunate to have Alex Larson with us from JET Reports. He will be conducting this overview. Alex is the channel manager at JET Reports, which is a partner of Solution Systems who provides additional and targeted solutions to meet the unique needs of our customers. So I'm going to pass it over to Alex, who can tell you more about that.
All right. Thank you very much for the introduction, Michael. Again, my name is Alex Larson, and I am the East Region Channel Manager here at JET Reports. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and I'm very excited to be here to present our business. A little bit of background on our company. JET Reports is the leading reporting and business intelligence solutions provider for Dynamics NAV. We have over 70,000 users worldwide with offices in over 50 countries. We are a Microsoft strategic partner in that some of our software was developed in collaboration with Microsoft. And a couple things that set us apart from our competition are our renowned customer service across 24 time zones and 24-hour technical support and access to our community and support site resources. So today what we're going to be taking a look at is our JET Enterprise solution. And now, when you typically ask 4 or 5 different people what business intelligence is, you're going to get 4 or 5 different answers. So for the purpose of this discussion, when we talk about BI, what we're talking about is reporting from a data warehouse and cube environment. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with what exactly that is, I like to use this chart here over on the right-hand side of my screen. So starting over here on the left-hand side of the chart, this is our NAV database. And NAV has roughly 1,000 tables and over 10,000 fields. And what we found is that most end users only use about 15 tables and 100 fields for reporting purposes. So this is why a data warehouse becomes important. A data warehouse is meant to only store the information that is relevant for reporting. So that is taking a very large data set and trimming it down to something much more manageable. The data warehouse goes a step further and organizes the data by subject matter. So notice the icons in the graphic are now lined up in rows. What this means is that all of the data that is related to sales, for example, is put into the sales section of the data warehouse, regardless of which table it lives in on the NAV database. So sales data could live in 6 tables in NAV. In the data warehouse, now it's all in one place. So going a step further in optimizing the data, the cube makes the data even more relevant for analysis. So this is where dimensionality and key performance indicators come into play. So notice on the graphic that not only are the icons lined up, but now they're also organized by color. The cube has now taken every possible combination of dimension and value and laid it out into one flat file format. So this means that if you wanted to see sales by item, by region, by year, that analysis is already done for you and sitting there waiting to be viewed with a couple clicks of your mouse. The cube then goes a step further and pre-calculates any formula-based values like gross profit. So this is where custom KPIs are added. And the added benefit of this is that your organization is now working from one version of the truth, or everybody's using the exact same formula to calculate your gross profit. So think of this entire structure as going from a lot of data to only a little, from everything to relevant only, from complex to simple, and from slow to fast. Now, the three main advantages of a full business intelligence solution with Jet Enterprise are first going to be consolidation and performance. So having the dedicated reporting database with data warehouse and cubes. Second is speed. Unlike a traditional reporting solution where you're having to query the live database, because you're working from a data warehouse and cube environment, and it is built for reporting, all of your analysis is going to be almost instantaneous. And then third is ease of use. So since the data is already organized, the typical end user doesn't need to know how the data relates together within the database. So a couple of things that Jet Reports offers out of the box with our solution is a pre-built data warehouse and 6 pre-built cubes specifically for NAV that'll cover the majority of what your organization needs. Secondly is, and this is where I believe the real value in our solution is, it's in our back-end tool, the Jet Data Manager. And this allows you to customize the cubes to fit your organization all in-house. And it is extremely user-friendly, so you don't need to be a BI or a SQL expert by any means to use the tool. And then third and finally, as is with our entire product line, the front end is entirely in Excel. So we're leveraging all of Excel's functionality and the power of Excel with the addition of Jet's powerful reporting and business intelligence capabilities to report from this data warehouse and cube environment, which I'll show you a little bit of next. So let's go ahead and take a look at what a finished report in Jet Enterprise looks like. So here we have a sales dashboard that was built in Jet Enterprise. In the center here, in these 4 charts and graphs, we have some of our different KPIs. So we have sales amount, profit, and profit percentage year over year. We have sales amount and profit by item category, sales amount by salesperson, and then sales amount by global dimension 1, which is department. Around it, you're going to see some different slicers. If you're not familiar with slicers, basically all they are visual filters offered in Excel 2010 and higher. So we have slicers for both of our global dimensions, country, year, company, salesperson, item category, and product group. So now if I wanted to see just my data for my North American company, for example, for the years 2007, 2008, and 2009, I can select those in my slicers, and as you can see, the data within my charts and graphs is updating instantaneously. Now, this is taking a look at a very large amount of data over multiple years, whereas if you were to write a similar report in a traditional reporting tool, it could take a significant amount of time for this report to run or refresh. However, since we're reporting from the data warehouse and cube environment, this analysis is almost instantaneous. Another example of a report in Jet Enterprise. Here's a financial dashboard which measures our account actuals to budget. So in the center here in some of the charts and graphs, we have our actual versus budget year over year, our year-to-date actual to budget, variance to budget, and then actuals versus prior year. In the slicers around it, for this particular dashboard, we can slice on any of our GL accounts, any of our levels, so revenue, cost, operating expenses, etc. Company, year, global dimensions, and budgets. Now, one of the things that we do deliver out of the box with the solution is the report player, and we deliver this out of the box with all of our solutions. But both of these dashboards that I've just shown you, it stopped working. So both of these dashboards that I just showed you are available out of the box within the report player, and it includes everything from inventory dashboards, financial, sales, AR, AP, that can basically be hooked up directly to your data warehouse and cubes and updated with a minimal amount of work to get it all set up. So let's take a look at what it actually takes to build one of these dashboards and really the ease of use advantage of Jet Enterprise. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a blank workbook here. Now, up here on the Jet ribbon with Jet Enterprise, what we're going to utilize mostly is this pivot table cubes icon. So if I go ahead and click that, what this is going to do is it's going to give me access to the different cubes I have. So we do deliver 7 pre-built cubes out of the box. So finance, inventory, payables, purchase, receivables, sales, and we also have a manufacturing cube. So if I wanted to access my sales cube, I would just double click on that. And it's just going to open up a normal pivot table here. Then over here on the right hand side, this is where we're going to select our different measures and dimensions that we would like to include in this report and then ultimately in the dashboard. So the measures are just the different values or the number of quantities that you want to include. So sales amount, profit percentage, quantity, discounted amount, things like that. So if I wanted to see my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage, I can select those there. And as you can see, they are appearing in my pivot table. Currently, these are the numbers for all time, but I'll change that in just a second. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select the different dimensions or what I want to slice and dice this by. So the dimensions within the cube, they shouldn't be confused with the dimensions in nav. Those are 2 separate things. Just think of the dimensions that are housed in the cube as simply the things that you want to be able to slice and dice the data. So if I wanted to see my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage, I would go down here to my bill to customer dimension, select that, and now I have all of my customers listed and their sales amount, profit, and profit percentage. If I wanted to see that year over year, I would go down here to my posting date dimension, select that, and now I have all of my data year over year. Next to each of the years, you'll notice this little plus sign. I can actually expand on this data to see it by quarter, by month, or even by day as well. So now let's go ahead and simplify this back up real quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my profit percentage, take out my customers, and then take out my posting dates. So now I'm back to just my sales amount and profit. And let's take a look at this by a couple of other dimensions. So if I wanted to see my sales amount and profit by item category, I could go to my item category dimension here. If I wanted to see it by salesperson, go to my salesperson dimension. So now we have it grouped first by item category, then by salesperson. If we wanted this grouped the other way around, all that we have to do is go down here to our row labels and flip it there. So at this point, once we've had the data dropped in, and again, we have these plus signs next to the item categories as well, so we can see the individual items and their sales amount and profit. But once we've have the data that we want included in our pivot table here, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a chart or a graph. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Insert, and let's use a column chart. Make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert some slicer filters. So I'm going to go to Insert Slicer Filter. Now when I go to Insert Slicer Filter, this is going to give me access to every single dimension that's housed within my cubes. So everything from year to posting date to any of your global dimensions, you can have those as slicers. So if I wanted one for year, I'd go down and select my year. If I wanted one for salesperson, select salesperson. If I wanted one for item category, select item category. Once I've done this, I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And it's going to drop the slicers into my report. I'm just going to line them up real quickly. So now let's say that I only wanted to see my data for the year 2011, only for bags and totes, caps and hats, and clocks and watches, and only for Annette Hill, Bart Duncan, and John Roberts. I can select those slicers, and as you can see, this is updating from my cube with the data that I'm looking for and updating my pivot table as well as my chart and graph here. So to really get to the dashboard type feel like we have in this example, all that we're doing is we're adding additional pivot tables, some charts and graphs, and then finally some slicers to be able to slice and dice the data. So if I take a look at my sales amount, profit and profit percentage chart here, next to it you're going to see this details tab. If I select the details tab, that's actually going to bring me to the pivot table so I can see the data behind that chart within my dashboard. So this pretty much covers everything that I wanted to go over for Jet Enterprise. So now let's take a look at Jet Mobile, and we'll take a quick kind of sneak peek at this. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is everything that you have just seen with Jet Enterprise, it is part of, the mobile product is included as part of that or as an add-on to that. So the mobile product will run off of the data warehouse and cubes. So Jet Mobile is built for all of your mobile products. So initially we're going to start out with the iPad and then move forward from there. And it's really for enabling a mobile workforce, for C-level executives, for managers to be able to get the data that they need to make business decisions on the go. So really to run your business from wherever you are, react faster to threats and opportunities, arm your decision makers with the information they need when they need it, and improve focus at all levels of your organization. To give a brief overview of kind of the Jet Mobile architecture and how it ties into Jet Enterprise, this is kind of how everything fits together. So over here we have our Jet Enterprise. This is where the data warehouse and cubes are housed. And what it does is it goes into our Jet Data Service. And from the Jet Data Service, what I'm going to be showing you next is our Dashboard Builder. So the Dashboard Builder is semi-similar to what I was showing you within Excel, except much more intuitive and makes everything built for mobile devices. So once the dashboards are built in the Dashboard Builder, the information can then be pushed out to iPads, and then down the road it'll be available to tablets, phones, as well as web browsers. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Dashboard Builder. Might have to log back in here real quickly. It's logged me out. Let me just grab the password. There we go. Hold on. I apologize here. Don't know why it's not letting me copy and paste it. Just going to close out. There we go. Now it's opening. There we go. So now we're looking at the Dashboard Builder. So when you first open the Dashboard Builder, it's going to give you access to all of your dashboards. So here we have just a bunch of different sales dashboards, as well as some a C-level one here. So you can open up the ones that you've already created as well as create a new one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select New Dashboard. And we'll call this Solution Systems Dashboard. I can then enter a description as well as specify the data source and then finally which cube I would like to access to build the dashboard. Then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So within the dashboard builder, there's a couple of different components. So up here at the top, here's the different charts, graphs, filters, and I'll go through those as we begin building the dashboard here. And then down here at the bottom, we basically have all the different measures and dimensions that we have within this cube. So similar to how you saw with the pivot tables in Excel, where I was selecting them over here on the right-hand side, over here on the left within the dashboard builder, this is where you're going to be able to select those. So let's go ahead and begin building a dashboard. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create a pie chart that shows our sales amount by salesperson. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull my pie chart into my dashboard area here. I'm just going to set that right there and make it a little bit smaller. From there, I'm going to select the different measures and dimensions I'd like. So if I wanted my sales amount in here, I'm just going to drag and drop the sales amount, and then I'm going to select a dimension. So if I wanted to see my sales amount by salesperson, select that right here. And it's going to populate a pie chart with me with the sales amount by salesperson. Here you can change the name of it. So if I wanted it to say sales by salesperson, you can change that right there. Next, let's create a column chart with our top 10 items. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in my column chart and line that up. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull in my, let's do profit here for our measure. And then let's pull in our items. So under dimensions, I'm just going to go to item. I'm going to pull that in. So now we have all of our items listed here. If we want to see our top 10 items, what we're going to do is over here on the left-hand side, bring this down. And under the values area, I'm just going to select my profit. And then it has a top 10 feature here, as well as sorting and filtering features. So if I click on top 10, I can see my top 10, bottom 5, pretty much whatever you'd like. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And I'm going to take out this other category. So now we have our top 10 items. Now let's go ahead and create a donut chart with these top 10 items so we can just see the data in a different kind of way. Or actually, let's do our top 10 or our top item categories in a donut chart. And let's do that by sales amount. So I'm going to pull in my sales amount measure. And then we're going to go down here and let's pull in our item categories. So now we have our sales amounts by item category. And by hovering over any of these areas, I can see the exact numbers and percentages as well. I can do that with any of these charts and graphs. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in what's called a range slicer, which is this one, right? This visual right here. So if I bring in my range slicer here, and I'm just going to line this up. And the range slicer is a really cool tool because it allows you to filter on different periods of time. So if I wanted to, let's just bring in our sales amount and profit. And then let's do by item category. There we go. And so right now, actually let's take out the item category here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And I'm going to use posting date instead. So I'm going to delete my item category. I'm going to go ahead and add in a posting date dimension. There we go. So now we have our sales amount and profit by item category. And what the range slicer allows you to do is filter on certain periods of time. So if I just wanted to see my data for the year 2011, all I have to do is pull over my range slicer on each of these ends. Come on. If it lets me do it. There we go. Now it's doing it. I apologize. It's a little bit slow going over GoToWebinar as well as connecting to a remote desktop right now, so it's lagging a little bit, making this a little bit difficult. So now we have just our information for the year 2012. So our sales amount and profit for the year 2012, as well as the sales by salesperson, sales by item, or profit by item, and then sales by item category here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some filters. So in order to add filters, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this filter visual and pull that in up here at the top. I'm just going to line it up about right there. And from there, we can add any filters that we'd like. So if we'd like a company filter, I go down here to my company dimension and just drop that into the filters box. And then let's go ahead and add one more here. I'm going to pull this over a little bit further, make it a little bit smaller. And then let's add one more filter here at the top. And let's add a filter for Global Dimension 1, which is our different departments. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a title here in this area. So let's just call this Sales Dashboard. Make it a little bit bigger. So now once I've built the dashboard here, what I can do is I can change the theme if I'd like. So if we wanted to change the color scheme on this, I can just go to themes up here at the top and really make it look however I'd like. Now what you're seeing in this area is exactly how it'll look on your iPad or mobile device. So on your mobile device, you'll be able to click around to get the details behind any of these numbers within any of our charts and graphs, play with the range slicer here, as well as any of these filters. So the dashboard is what you're going to be using to physically build the dashboards for the mobile device, and then from there they can be pushed out to them and interact directly with the cubes and data warehouse. So this pretty much covers everything that I wanted to go over and show you today. Are there any questions I can answer for anyone? And Michael, I'm not sure if I can see the questions, so.
There doesn't appear to be any questions. Can you hear me, Alex?
All right. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so with that, it looks like we're going to conclude.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you all for your time today. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to Michael or your rep at Solution Systems, or I am happy to answer any questions for you as well. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day.